Dear students, in the previous class we have studied about the different laws of radiation. That is Wien's law, Stefan Boltzmann's law, Planck's radiation law, Rayleigh-Jean's law. All these things we have studied. And also we have studied electron gas in metals in the last class. Today, the next topic we are going to discuss is irreversible thermodynamics. Irreversible thermodynamics, usually all naturally occurring processes or spontaneous processes, they are all irreversible in nature, and thermodynamically they are non-equilibrium processes. In irreversible thermodynamics, we are going to study about the force and flux. Force and flux. What is force and what is flux? Now, first, what is meant by flux? Flux is nothing but, in a irreversible process, the transport number of one or more quantities, is called forces. For example, the transportation of the quantities such as heat, mass, momentum, they are all transportation processes. Electric charge, these are all called transportation quantities. Why the transport? Why the displays from one place to another? Heat is one of the transportation quantity, transportation entity. It always transfers from high temperature to low temperature. Similarly, the mass, from higher mass to lower mass. Momentum, that is the velocity, from higher velocity to lower velocity. Electric charge, from higher potential to lower potential. Similarly, the diffusion of solute from higher concentration to lower concentration. They are all transportation properties. For all these, there is one driving force is responsible for their transportation. That driving force is called, force, which is responsible for the transportation of these quantities. See, the driving force is nothing but gradient. The heat transports due to temperature gradient. Electric charge transports due to potential gradient. The diffusion is the transport property due to change in concentration, that is change in or due to gradient in concentration. So, the driving force which is responsible for the transportation of these properties from higher to lower, and this force is responsible, that is called a driving force or a force. For example, the mass is the flux. Mass is the flux. It changes due to concentration gradient. Heat is the flux due to temperature gradient. Okay, here the gradient is temperature, concentration gradient, potential gradient, all these things. This force is called driving force. Okay, usually the transport phenomena of any property, okay, that flow, these properties, heat, mass, momentum, these are all called flux, and flux is also called flow. They flow in a direction of x, okay, due to the gradient in that property. Then these transport phenomena for a reaction in one-dimensional system, okay, the transport phenomena transport phenomena. Transport means displacement. The transport phenomena in one-dimensional system is represented as, is written as J is equal to Lx. Okay? J is equal to Lx. What is J? J is flux. Or we can say it is the flow per unit area. It is a flux or flow per unit area, okay, of the transported quantity along a given direction. And this x is called driving force. X is driving force, or it is a gradient. Okay, it is a gradient. Gradient means difference, change. That is called gradient. That is which causes the direction of force. Okay, direction of force. And L. Okay, this L is proportionality constant. This L is proportionality constant. It is called transport coefficient. This is called transport coefficient. So J is the flux. It is a transport property which is caused by the force which is responsible in the direction of x, and L is the proportionality constant. The flux actually directly proportional to x. Okay? Greater the potential gradient, greater the gradient, greater will be the rate of flow of any transport property, and this proportionality constant called transport coefficient. There are many number of examples for various transport properties. There are various examples. For example, if you have a heat transfer, if the transport property is heat, if it transfer, it is written as J Q equal to minus K into dt by dx. Okay, that is heat transfer. This is flux. Okay, this is force. The heat transfer is directly proportional to rate of change of temperature with respect to x. This is called temperature gradient. Okay, this is temperature gradient. Similarly, mass transfer. How will you write the mass transfer? Simply I am writing it as m equal to minus d into dc by x. This is mass transfer. This is flux and this is force. This is called concentration gradient. Actually, this is Fick's law. This is actually Fourier's law. Okay. Similarly, we have momentum transfer. Momentum transfer is Jm equal to minus mu du by dx. This is due to momentum gradient. Okay? Here, the momentum is transferred from higher momentum to lower momentum. This is momentum gradient. This is the Newton's law. Next we have flow of electricity. It is simply written as Je equal to minus lambda dE divided by dx. Ohm's law. This is potential gradient. Okay? The electricity flows from higher potential to lower potential. That is why this is called, this force that is called potential gradient. This is momentum gradient. This is concentration gradient. This is temperature gradient. All these dt by dx, dc by dx, they are all called forces, driving forces, which is responsible for the flow of these transport properties from higher concentration to lower concentration, higher potential to lower potential, higher momentum to lower momentum. Okay, these are all different examples for different types of forces. Okay, these JIs, that is J2, JM, JM, JE, they are all called different fluxes. Okay, they are called fluxes, and J2 is the heat flux, JM is the mass flux, and this Jm is the momentum flux. This is electricity flux, and therefore these are all the transport properties, and this K, D, mu and lambda are called transport coefficients. Okay, these are all transport coefficients. These values depends upon the material of the system, material properties of the systems, and they are all called phenomenological laws. Now we will study the next topic. Linear force flux relationship. This is nothing but phenomenological equations or laws. phenomenological equations describes in a simple way how the system changes. For example, Ohm's law and diffusion law are some familiar examples for phenomenological processes. Okay, Ohm's law, Fick's law. These are all examples for phenomenological processes. How, for example, listen, the phenomenological equations in irreversible thermodynamics, for example, in the case of Fick's law of diffusion, dm by dt can be written as the Fick's law can be written as dm by dt is equal to d into dc by dx. The transport property, the rate of change of mass, usually the solute, the rate of change of solute with respect to temperature is directly proportional to concentration gradient. Okay, concentration gradient. We can write it as this is actually this is equal to flux and this is equal to force. This is called diffusion coefficient, or this is the transport coefficient. It is actually J is equal to L into X. See, and D is called diffusion coefficient. Similarly, listen, we can generalize for one-dimensional growth as, I can also write the Fick's law as, for example, if simultaneously two different solutes diffuses at different potential gradient, I can write it as dm1 by dt will be equal to d into dc1 by dx plus e into dc2 divided by dx. What is the second term? Shows the influence of second solute transport on the first solute. This is the concentration gradient. Okay, this is the concentration gradient due to which the first solute transports. If there is a second solute, this is the concentration gradient due to which the influence of second solute is represented by the second term. Similarly, I can also write this equation as for second solute dm2 by dt. I can write it as equal to f into dc2 divided by dx plus g into dc1 by dx. This is the transport property, the diffusion of second solute, and this second term shows the influence of the first solute, and this is the concentration gradient for the diffusion of the second solute. This is the concentration gradient for the diffusion of the first solute. So therefore, these D, E, F, G are called corresponding diffusion coefficients. Okay, this D, E, F, G, they are all called corresponding diffusion coefficients. They are called diffusion coefficients. Okay, and we can also write, instead of dm by dt, I can write it as J1. This dm2 by dt, I can write it as J2, etc. Okay, to simplify this, I can write it as, it will be, this is equal to J1, this is equal to J2. I can also write down like this. This is the flux J1 and J2. So therefore, accordingly, for example, this B becomes L11. See, I can write this equation. See, this B becomes L11. Okay, B becomes this L11, and E becomes L12. The first subscript shows, okay, the first subscript shows, refers to component that moves, okay. The first subscript shows the component that moves, okay. That is, the first component moves, first solute moves. Here also the first solute moves. So the first subscript should refers to the substance that moves, and the second subscript shows the potential gradient. Okay, this is due to first potential gradient. This is due to second solute potential gradient. So we can write this diffusion coefficient as L11 and L22 like this. So therefore, and similarly this dC1 by dx1 can be written as x1, and dC2 by dx can be written as x2, like this. If I write like this, this is called, this is notation in both, is both convenient and easy to remember. Similarly, I can write all these forces and fluxes are combined together. I can write it as Ji for ith component. For ith transport property, I can write it as L1I x1. Okay. Similarly, Li2. This is I1 x2. Li3 x3. Okay. This is, in this case, this J, this L is the diffusion coefficient or transport coefficient. First subscript shows the which undergoes transportation, and the second subscript shows the potential gradient, due to which potential gradient. That is what we can linearly, this is called the linear relationship between forces and fluxes. Okay, I can going on write it down like this, depending upon Li, N, X, N. Okay, this is diffusion coefficient, and this is the driving force, and this is the flux. And this relation is called linear, this relation is called linear phenomenological relations. Okay. Linear phenomenological relations. For example, if two transport properties are dependent on each other's gradient, okay, if the two transport properties simultaneously, they are dependent on one another, they are called coupled flows. See, two simultaneous transport properties are dependent on one another, such a flow is called coupled flow. Such a flow is called coupled flow. Okay, Hans developed the irreversible thermodynamics to these type of coupled flows also. So therefore, we are writing that Ji, this is called linear relationship Ji is equal to Li1 x1, okay, Li2 x2. I can going on right now like this. Li1 x1. Okay. What is the I? I will be equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. This is the linear relationship between the force and fluxes. So this is about the phenomenological equations. This is also called Onsager phenomenological coefficients. Okay, this Lij is called, okay, Lij is called Onsager's phenomenological coefficients. Okay, this is also called Lij. I told you that the first subscript shows the transport property and the second subscript shows the gradient. Okay, the gradient and this put together this can also be called as Onsager's phenomenological coefficient. So this is the linear relationship between the force and fluxes. We have different types of forces, different types of transport properties. They transport due to their gradient, due to their changes from one place to another. Okay, this is about the irreversible thermodynamics of flux and force relationship. The next topic with this, your syllabus becomes end. Okay, the next topic of the next unit we will study in the next class.